What was the data tables? What is this data table? In the Visual Force pages, you have seen a concept called page block table, data list, repeat. Am I right? Now, did you remember this concept? Did anyone remember this concept? If I want to display dynamic data, we used to do like this. When you are not sure what data we are trying to display, when you write a dynamic SOKL query, probably you might have encountered this type of Did you remember this type of functionality? When you write a dynamic SOKL query, I don't know how many fields you are going to select, which fields you are going to select. I don't know how many records you are okay, how many fields you are going to select, which fields you are going to select. When you are not sure about that, we have used this format of display. Am I right? So where we have done list of records, repeat I have taken a field, record of field. Whatever the fields are there in this list, those fields will be displayed from this record. Right? Similar concept we are trying to learn in the Lightning now, which is a data table. What the data table does? It says, boss, don't create this table structure like this. You tell me which records you want to display. You tell me which fields you want to display. I will make it dynamic. If you remember, the regular people who have taken the development from me, we have done one Lightning Visual Force component. Instead of creating a page block table every time, we design one component where we told list of record, list of fields, automatically it will be displaying the records. Now it says, don't create the logic for this. Simply tell me which records you want to display, which fields you want to display. Okay, automatically I will display the data. So what are the two parameters we require here? What are the two parameters? Now, two parameters. One is records, second one is the fields. Now let us go with the static first, the static way of creating the fields. I'll go with the Lightning data table. The first one we are going to take, let me make it simple. Data, what is the data you want to display? The columns what do you want to display? Which data you want to display? Which fields in the data you want to display? Simply it is a data columns. But the point is, how do you define the fields? How do you define the fields? If you want to define the fields, look at the format. We go with the label name of the field name, type. When you want to tell which fields you want to display, tell me the list of fields which you want to display. How should I tell the field name? Label name, field name, type. Label name, field name, type. These are the fields which I want to display. What is the data you want to display? These are the list of records what I want to display. But in our case, first we want to fetch the data from database, write a SOKL query, get the data. Once you get the data, I will try to display it. When you are displaying, already we have learned one concept to make a repetition. What is it? URA iteration. We already see the concept called URA iteration, but when you are going for the URA iteration, it doesn't have any built-in CSS. It doesn't have any built-in CSS. I want to get the look and feel of Lightning when you are displaying the data. When I am displaying the list of records in the lightning, the way the lightning is displaying the data in the lightning, exactly in the same way I want to display the data. When you go for iteration, it will not have any built-in CSS. I was supposed to create external CSS and get the look and feel. First, let me complete the example. How to write a SOKL query, how to get the data, display the data using iteration. When I go with the iteration, what is the drawback I have and how we are rectifying it and how data table is going to provide a solution for that. These are the two topics we are going to start first. Now my requirement is how to make a request to the server, get the list of records, display the data using iteration. Well, you are displaying the data using iteration. What is the drawback we have? How we are rectifying this drawback and what is the advantage of data table? These 2 points will start first, then we'll go for your next DML operation. Look at the example. First example I'm going for how to write a SOKL query and return the data. Now, requirement is clear what I'm going to explain now. My requirement was writing a query, getting the data, trying to display the data using existing component which already we know, which is iteration. While I'm displaying with iteration, what is the drawback of iteration on the UI? Then how do you rectify the drawback and what is the alternate concept what we have to display that list of data? So this is the overall theme of today's discussion. Okay, let me go with the first one. How we are making? I will complete all the theory and examples first. At the end, if people who are interested, you can stay back. I'll give the examples for you to. I'll make you to write. Right. First, I'll complete all the topics. People who are interested to do the examples, you can stay back at the end of the class. I'll make you to write so that it will be okay. People who want to leave, they can leave off. Okay. Now I have list of account. Invoke list of account now. What was this? A basic SOKL query. We are writing a query and it is going to return you list of records. Here we are introducing S object into the lightning. Till now, the examples what we have done is the primitive data types only. Now it is going to give you list of records. Now it is going to give you list of records. Okay. This is the Apex class what I have. Let me go with the lightning component. I have your attribute name equal to accounts, type equal to array of accounts. Name equal to accounts, type equal to array of accounts. Items equal to v dot or else we can go with a table structure, get the data. So this is how we have created. Then I want to give Yura a name equal to init. This what? So whenever the component is getting loaded, we want to call me. Go to the controller. So what is the name of the method we have? Invoke. So how you define? So we have where action equal to component dot get c dot then action dot set $a dot nq action $a dot nq action. Right. Then we are going to get is equal to response dot get then component dot set b dot accounts. So what was the format I have given? Component dot get c dot invoke, set the callback, get the state, success, then set the value. So what I will do, I'll go with console dot log.
Check that wait data.
Come again.
Data accounts, then you modify.
Did I use any lightning component there? Now we received the data, name, phone number. If you put it as a div and apply style, we can make it compact. Right. So this is how we have created. We wrote a SOKL query and we are getting the data. When you wrote a SOKL query and getting the data, is it giving the look and feel of the standard tables what we are able to see in the Lightning? When I go to the Lightning here, if you look at the list of records, this is the look and feel what I am expecting. This is a look and feel, standard look and feel of the list of record. But when I go for iteration, we are getting the list of record. But the problem here is it is not getting the standard Lightning look and feel. Just like your page block table, data table. Page block table will give you list of records with a standard look and feel of the Salesforce. Data table will also give a list of record, but no standard look and feel. The same concept in the Lightning, if you compare iteration, it repeats the data, but it is not giving you standard look and feel. If I want to get the standard look and feel, I need to apply my own CSS here. But when you go to the data table, it will display the list of record with the standard look and feel of the Lightning. That's how we are going for a data table. I hope you are good with this. So what was the first basic example? I wrote a SOKL query here. I wrote a SOKL query. I got the data. Once I received the data using a SOKL query, then I'm invoking the Apex class within the component. I wrote URA handler. What is the purpose of this? When the component is getting loaded, first perform this handler. When I go to this handler, client side JavaScript is invoked. It says invoke the method called invoke. It is going to get the data, assign this data to the attribute called b.accounts. This is what we have created here. I hope you are good with this. We are able to write a query, we are able to get the data, we are able to display the data. But what is the drawback of it? What is the drawback of it? It is not getting the standard look and feel of Lightning. If I want to get the standard look and feel of Lightning, we have an alternate solution. What is that alternate solution? What we used to do earlier is this. Previously, if we want to get the standard look and feel of the Lightning, what we used to do, go to the Lightning Design System, LDS. There will be table, look at this, where was that? We used to apply these structures here. We used to copy paste the data here. One block will be there here, which is called a table. Let me check out. Table. This is what we used to do earlier. Now we used to apply all these CSS. You are able to see here. SLDS line. The same story we used to apply. And the same we used to apply. I'll make it. I'll just copy paste it. This is how we used to implement earlier. We used to copy paste the same thing we used to apply here, because we cannot by heart all that CSS and get the structure. So what we used to do, go to that Lightning Design System, look at the sample look and feel, then copy paste it wherever the data is required. We used to apply the data. What is the other field I have queried here? Name. This is how we used to get the look and feel. When there was no lightning component, lightning colon component is available, we used to apply the lightning design system and get whatever the structure we require. We used to copy paste the code, and wherever the logic is required, we used to modify it. This is how we used to get the look and feel what we require. But now the things are simplified. Literally, we used to do this. Literally, we used to copy paste like this. Because you can look at this. Now we are taking certain elements here. We need to remember all these CSS classes and apply this. Now it is very horrible to implement all those CSS here. So we used to apply look and feel, get this structure. But now the things are simplified with the lightning colon components. Now whatever the CSS we applied here, whatever the code I have copied, now we made this as a simple component called lightning colon data table. Lightning colon data table. So previously, as I told you, we used to go to lightning design system. There used to be a formats here. Look at the formats what we require. Copy paste the code. Wherever the logic is required, apply that logic. Right. Now what is the structure we received? Data table. Now whatever the look and feel we are getting here, simply it is achieved with one particular component which is called lightning data table, which has got built-in CSS. Now whatever the CSS we applied here from the lightning design system and we achieved this, the same things we have implemented with a single component called lightning colon data table, because it has inbuilt CSS. We can say 60 to 70% of the CSS what we used to copy from lightning design system, now we stopped doing that with the help of lightning colon components with extends force SLDS. Got it? Okay. Now let us go back. And see how it can be achieved in the data table. I hope this is clear for everyone. Now when you go for iteration, we are not getting the look and feel. So if you want to get the look and feel, what we have done, lightning design system I went to the data table, copy pasted the CSS codes what we have, and we modified the logics. That's how we used to achieve it. Now we are trying to achieve the same concept with the help of data table. Now let us see. Data table. So first let me make it simple. Let me give you a simple example first. Let me make a simple example. So wherever I require, I don't need this property. So look at this. Anyone has any query till here? Records, columns, initialization, list. What we got in the lightning data table? ID, data. On what based on what field you are recognizing the record? Key field, ID, data, columns, hide checkbox column. Initially, you can remove this also. I don't need this to understand. Right. Look at this code. Anything new you are finding in this code now? Defining two attributes, one handler method, one data table. Right? Now, the major story here. Come again, Amma? It's initialization. Before the component is loaded, you want some action to be performed, I'll define handler. It's one of the purpose. Not only this, for handling the events. This is handling event now called onload. Handler is for handling the events. Handler will handle the events. Now when I told when component is loaded, run this. So it's onload event. Now it is handling what? Onload. Basically, the purpose of the handler is to handle the events. Now when I told name init value equal to this, it's performing onload event. Before, okay, when the component is loading, perform this action, then load the component. It is like onload. URA handler is used to handle the events. At this point of time, I am using the URA handler to handle onload event, just like your constructor format. Okay. Now go back to this. Now let me give you next one. Try to understand this point clearly, boss. Look at the format. What we are trying to fetch? Label, account name, field name, account name. We have label, phone. We're just trying to display two fields. Come again? We can give it. Now look at the format. First, let me go with the text. Account name. Account name. If I give a phone, again I need to go for validation, format, specification, all the stuff. So I'll reduce it now. Look at the format. Field name, account name, phone number. We got this. What is the second one we received? We want to write a query, get the data. Now, how do you get the data? Again, same story. Var action component dot get c dot. So I was giving here $a dot nq action. Okay. Now action dot set callback this comma Now, look at the format. First one, what we have done, we have verified list of columns what you want to display. I can put them as a separate array and assign it here. Just let us go with the basic format. V dot columns. Data table says which columns you want to display. Name, phone number. Okay. Then I made a controller equal to. What was the next format we had? I made a request to the server side, I got the data and I sent it to the attribute called v dot data. Then first let us see the output, then we come back to the re-implementation. Now, right. So what we received here? List of records we received in the standard look and feel. Now why? Because we received this with a built-in CSS. The same which we are achieving in the iteration with the applying lighting design system CSS. The same look and feel what we are getting right now, we have implemented the same functionality in the previous case with the external CSS from lightning design system with the help of era iteration. Now that was simplified with a simple component called lightning data table where data equal to list of records what you want to display and the columns equal to list of columns what you want to display. With these two attributes, we are able to achieve this functionality. I hope you are clear with this. Clear with this? Did you get my point here? Now this is a simplified and it is getting built-in look and feel. So this is very frequently used functionality. Like how we use your data page block table in the Visual Force. Okay, that frequently will use this data table. I hope you got my point, right? Okay. So let me achieve one more example here from beginning. Let us try an example. Field name of the table. Yeah. So this is the field label. It's your choice. Whatever you give, it will work out. But this should be exactly the same name of your object. That's why previously it was account name. I didn't remove it. You got an error. I removed account name and kept as a name. Okay. This is the field name of the object from where we are getting the data. Right, boss? Internally, it is going to take a dot name, a dot phone, just like a page block table only. But there we are giving a dot name, a dot phone. Okay, but here, whatever the names we have given, internally it is going to write a repeat and print it. No. Whatever the order you give here, the same order they will display. Yeah, see, basically it's a list, right? It's a list. The list, what will happen? Order of insertion will be maintained. So in the same order, the elements will be printed. List will maintain the order of insertion. Whatever the order you inserted in the list, the same order the elements will be printed. Okay? Right. Let us do one quick.
Satish, I have a query in the component.
1 minute. Yeah. Data. See, object is what? Any type of data it can support. I can give a list, I can give a set, I can give a map. Okay. Now object will store any type of data, so I have taken an object there because it's already existing there. I use it. You put it as a account, list of account, no issue. Now, as per our requirement, it can be either account array or list or object. Object will support any type of data. Any type of data can be stored in an object. So that's the reason they didn't give any error for you. So otherwise you can put or you can put even. Okay. Yes. What is your query, Amma? Online. What is your query?
Satish, in the data table, what does that mean? Key field is equal to ID.
Based on which field the recognition of the record is done. So ID field will be helping you to recognize the record.
So it is account's ID.
Exactly. Obviously, right? Okay. It's not account ID. ID of an account record. ID itself is a field name, right?
Okay. Yeah.
Fine. So let us do one quick example here. I hope everyone is good with this. Yeah. Come again. Apex class. JavaScript. Whose line number, Amma? See, how do you call the Apex class method? How do you call component dot get c dot invoke? Invoke is a method from Apex class. So whatever the component you are referring, that component controllers method invoke. You got it. This can be any variable. So that's the reason I don't take action here. Keep putting some variable. People start considering this as one built-in functionality. Now look at this. What was that ABC? It is a variable. Whatever the function you are calling, that function we are calling it. Then ABC dot set callback. Whatever the reply you are giving, that reply we want to handle it. it is going to add it to the queue. See, all the actions which are there will be added to the queue. Okay, from the queue, the actions will be fired. So internally, it is going to be added to the queue. So all the enqueue actions we are going to add it at the end of the functionality. Because this is your logic. This is not your logic. This is just you are putting in the queue. First, you write the logic. That logic will be added to the queue first. What you want to do after calling the method, what you want to do, which method you are calling, what you want to do, define it. Then you put them in the queue. Right? So now the way we are defining and the way they are executing, both are different. Now this is what is the action you are calling, what is the action it is going to perform. This is at the end what we are doing, add this entire functionality to the queue. Add this functionality to the queue. Queue will decide whether to make a request or not. Right? Fine, boss. Okay. See, order of execution will not be always a top to bottom. So if you write 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, the program always will not run 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. The order of execution depends upon the logic what we wrote. Now we are writing a for loop. Now why it is going again to top? Now again if I am calling one more object, if I am calling one more method which is on the top, then what is happening? The order of execution is not always top to bottom. Right? Okay. Fine. Let us do one more example. Let us fetch list of. Let us try one example quickly. Let us try one example. I'll just give the requirement here. I hope everybody followed this. Okay. Let us do step-by-step procedure for. Okay. Write a SOKL query. Write a Apex class. Method return list of contacts. Write a Apex class SOKL example 2 with a method show. This method will return list of contacts which are created this week. So how did you define the class? Public class. Circle example 2. This is how we created. Then what was the next one? Create a component. You write attribute. Then I had your handler. I hope everyone has followed this. There's only two attributes, one handler, one data type, nothing else. Two attributes, one handler, one data type. There's still so many properties, but we are on the basics now. Then go with the client side controller, which is a main. Call me. Call me function, component, event, helper. Set the value. Component dot set dot then invoke the method. What is the name of the method? Show. Then continue the remaining program. I hope everyone is good with that. I hope everyone has followed this example. Clear for everyone?
Every time we are defining the labels, okay. Suppose we need 30 labels, so we need to
Dynamically generate in the Apex class, return the value. Dynamically generate the same thing in the Apex class, run the value. Or else we have to define it. There is another. Now, let us say you are going with the Visual Force page, okay, Visual Force page block table you are using. You want to display 30 fields. What is the procedure you follow? Site away will not give, no, you have to mention no A dot name or A dot phone or A dot industry. Otherwise, you don't print. Am I right? Otherwise, you have to make it dynamic. Dynamic in the sense what? You are putting in a list or putting in a map. Here also same, putting a write in Apex class, put them in a list, then form it. Okay. Fine. Now we can make this dynamic. This is a static one I have taken right now. We can still make it dynamic in the Apex side. There I will be returning this as what? I will be returning this as what? It is a wrapper class. If I define this as a wrapper class, list of wrapper if I return, then what happens? The same value I can store it in the attribute. Now this is an object for me. If I take a wrapper with a label, field name, type. Now if I make a list of wrapper, then it has become dynamic for me. Got it? Then what should I do? Schema programming. I have to go to schema programming. Which field? What is the field label? What is the field name? What is the type? Got it? Okay, we'll make it still long way to go. Okay. I hope you are good with this. See, if there is only one procedure which is good, we'll all be learning 2-3 procedures. Every procedure will be used as per the requirements. Okay. So let's make it. Now let us go to the next example. What I'm taking? DML operation. So we want to perform a DML operation on the server side. So how to make a DML operation on the server side? Right now, our intention was to write a SOKL query, get the data, and display them in the Lightning component. So our requirement was write a SOKL query, get the data, display them in the component without using external CSS. With the CSS, what we have done? Went to the Lightning design system, data table format was there, copy pasted, and we have just modified some logic in the code. Now instead of going with that iteration, we have gone with the iteration with the Lightning design system. We have gone with the Lightning data table, which has simplified our process. So it is a combination of SOKL, Apex class, and your data table representation of list of records. Now the next point here is we want to understand how the DML can be performed. We want to understand how the DML can be performed. How to perform the DML operations. We want to understand how to perform the DML operations. Let us see. Basic example. I want to create an account. Basic example. I want to create an account. Right now, I am taking all of them as text fields. If you want to obey the properties of the field, then we need to go for record view form, record edit form. There's a concept called record view form, record edit form, record data that we will be looking them in the Lightning data services. But right now, the basic example is we are taking them like a string. Whatever the data we are entering, we want to push this data to the server side. We want to take them as a string. Whatever the data we are entering, we want to push this data to the server side, insert the record, give the response. That was my requirement. Now look at this. How to make a DML operation. With respect to the topics what we covered, we're just trying to design our examples. Basic. So the DML operation is nothing but I'm passing a parameter. The parameter I'm passing a parameter. I'm asking you to set the value. So let me create a component here. This is basic DML operation, right? There's nothing new in this. Only thing is I have enabled at the rate of URI enable. Apart from that, it's a basic DML operation of inserting a new record. Basic DML operation of inserting a new record. Nothing new about this functionality. Now create a lightning component. Now how you want to take? You want to take based on attributes or you want to take based on ID? Let's take a combination. Here we have lightning. This is how we created. Then I have component. Where was that? Attribute. So apply some CSS. basic structures only. We had some pad. Basic structure. Then go for the controller. In the controller, there are two actions here: call me and show. View the value. Then we are trying to invoke a method where abc equal to, what do you call it? Component dot get c dot set. Oops. How are you passing the parameter? Name industry phone. Yesterday I have made mistake here. What was the mistake I made? Instead of passing them like a key value, I pass them like a object. Then we got here response where state equal to success. Then we are going to get where result equal to response dot get return value. Then I was supposed to create one more attribute called result. Then invoke this within the application. Have a preview. Right. This is how we got inserted successfully. Right, boss? We are making a DML operation. Just we are saying a DML. Basically, we are passing the method, invoking a method with the parameters. Right. Basic concept is what? Invoking a method with the parameters. Within that, we are trying to perform DML operation. Now here, when you say show method, that's what we are going to perform. Right. Insertion field DML exception. Right, boss? Basic DML operation. So that's all from my end for the day. We just performed that DML operation. I hope there's nothing new in this. Whatever the example you have done in the last class to pass the data, we done the same. But only the point is, in the Apex class, we performed a basic DML operation of insert. And if it is a success, I was throwing a success message. Error, I was throwing a exception. I hope you are good with this. Right. So the next class, what I am going to cover is how do you use S objects directly and perform the DMLs. How to refer to the S object and create a components, and how to pass this S object as a parameter to the server side, and how to use standard functionality like in the Visual Force page we have used standard controller equal to account. Then I have save, edit, delete. If you want to go for a custom logic, we used to write a controller, but we have a standard controller. When I have a standard controller, I was able to perform an action called action equal to save, action equal to delete. So how to implement those type of standard controllers in Lightning, and how to refer to the S object. This will be the more discussion in the next week. The coming next week will be more on this, then followed by events I am going to discuss. Now, once the records are inserted, how do you navigate to that particular record? In the Visual Force pages, we used to say page reference P. Similarly, once the record is inserted in the Lightning, how do you navigate to the detail page of the record? So, navigation events and your S object standard actions. These will be the topics for the next week. Right, boss? So, probably by next week, major part of your LDS I am going to cover it. Then, if you cover the events, mostly you can do your project requirements, basic level project requirements you can implement. Okay? Right. That's all from my end.